starting the session, I'm going to inform you that kindly keep switching on your camera during all the session. And happy news for you that at the end of the session, we will announce the best paper and also the best presenter. And also there are some giveaway that we are going to distribute to all lucky participants and audience. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start this session very shortly.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, welcome back again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and also good afternoon, yeah, for those in Indonesian local time and somehow at the United Kingdom at the local time. And we're also happy for welcoming you back in this plenary session. It's the last session for all the entire event of International Seminar Conference on Learning Organization 2020. And special to this session, already joined with us our distinguished guests and speaker that already being joined with us and will be joined with us. Before we go into start session, let me say welcome to our keynote speaker, Professor Alexandros Pusikogios from Birmingham City University that will be joining with us later. And also to our discussion panel speakers. And also, I would like to say good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Rector of Telkom University, which today represented by Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Dr. Dadan Rahadian. Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum, Pak Dadan.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for joining with us in this very lovely afternoon. And also, welcome back to Dean of School of Economic and Business, Telkom University, Dr. Ratri Wahyu Ningtyas. Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum, Bu Dekan.
Waalaikumsalam. Selamat siang Pak Aceh. Selamat siang Pak Dadan.
Selamat siang Bu Ratri. Sehat.
And also I would like to say to our discussion panel speaker, Dr. Marian Afanasieva from University of Ho, that we are very shortly, we are going, she is going to join with us, and also the Chief Executive Officer of PT Angkasa Pura II, Dr. Muhammad Awaludin. I hope, I'm hoping that he is going to join with us very soon. And also to Mr. Jose Rizal as the member of the Board of Commissioner of PT Telkomsel as a part of our speakers at today's session. And also, welcome, good afternoon, Assalamualaikum to all representatives from our today's sponsor, Prodia and also Yayasan Perisai Akademia Peduli. And also, I would like to say Assalamualaikum, good afternoon to representative from our university partners, STA Equitas, and also from Business Administration Department from Universitas Katolik Parahyangan. And ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the session, we will announce the lucky participant who winning our giveaway of voucher from Prodia for basic immunity test. There will be 4 voucher availability for the lucky winner. And also we will be announced best paper and also best presenter award at the end of the session. So make sure you join with us until the session is ended. And for your information, we also broadcast this plenary session at our official YouTube channel, SEB Telkom University. So before we are going to start, I will inform you some general term and condition how we get close to this session, so this session can more be enjoyable. First, kindly display your name as formatted in your institution name and then underscore your name. For example, Telkom University underscore Taylor Swift. This is only for example. And then please kindly use the ISCLO 2020 virtual background and switch on camera during the event. The plenary session will be recorded for documentation session, the documentation purpose. And I hope and in this session, audience microphone will be mute. For the panel discussion, the audience can deliver the question to the panelists by typing the question on the chat feature in Zoom app. Due to the limited time, the question for audience will be selected and adopted by moderator to be answered by the panelists. And also, I would like to reminding that certificate of attendance and contribution or participation of this event will be distributed after after you done filling out the questionnaire. That the link to how you fill the questionnaire will be distributed very shortly via your email and also via chat room on Zoom app. And for the first agenda of this session, ladies and gentlemen, our first session is please welcome Yuri Hatamemi, PhD, as the chairman of A International Seminar and Conference on Learning Organization ISCLO 2020 to deliver his activity report. So this is Mr. Yuri. So please deliver your report.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies. Like to express my gratitude to our honorable Professor Alexander, finally, Dr. Marian Dr. Muhammad Awaludin, and Mr. Yosef for the opportunity to learn and to take insight from the exercise and experience. I would like to thank the respected authors that have just finished their presentation by parallel proceedings. Due appreciation is to the implement of self-community. Today is presented by the Vice Rector for Academic Award, Dr. Dadan Sahaja, Dean of Faculty Economic and Business, Dr. Ratu Indonesia, and last but not least, my beloved ISO 2020.
I'm sorry, Pak Juri, but we cannot hear your voice. We cannot hear your voice. Your voice is very not clearly, so we can barely hear your voice.
I will start over. Thank you very much for your reminder, Mr. Azari. Is it clear now, Mr. Azari?
Yes, better than before.
Okay, thank you very much. Please apologize for the technical issues. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All praises are to Allah, the merciful, the all-beneficent, by whose grace and blessings have enabled us together here for the 8th ISCLO International Seminar and Conference on Learning Organization 2020. I would like to express my gratitude to our honorable keynote speaker, Professor Alexandros Stogios, distinguished panelists, Dr. Mariana Afanasieva, Dr. Muhammad Awaludin, and Mr. Yose Rizal, for the opportunity they give to us to learn and to gain insight from their expertise and experiences. I would like to thank the respected authors that have just finished their presentation in 5 parallel session groups. Youth appreciation is presented to the management of Telkom University, who are today is represented by the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Dr. Dadan Sahaja, Dean of Faculty of Economic Business, Dr. Ratri Wahyunityas, and FED Management, and last but not least, my beloved, the 8th ISCLO 2020 Committee, session chairs, hosts, co-hosts, MC, and moderator that can make this event happen. Massive thanks also presented to our great partner, SPIE Executas and Business Administration Department Parahyangan Catholic University, as well as our super sponsors, Rodia and Yayasan Perisai Akademia Peduli. As a regular event, this year's ISCLO is the 8th event since 2013. This is the first ISCLO in history, which is completely conducted on a digital platform in line with the physical distancing norms due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Fortunately, we can still receive 87 submissions, with 57 of them are presented today after a careful blind review process. There are 18 from the marketing track, 12 from the human resource management track, 11 from the economics, financial management, and accounting track, 8 from the entrepreneurship track, 5 from the operation and IT management track, and 3 from the strategic management track. With the theme of learning organization in the new normal era, we seek the research that capture, examine, and explore the organizational learning process of the organization impacted by the pandemic. Therefore, 10% of the registration fees will be donated to the COVID-19 impacted parties. On behalf of the committee, I hope you can have an insightful learning and wonderful experience from this ISCLO 2020. Thank you very much once again, and please apologize if there are still some shortcomings. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for your report. It's very, very well informed. Thank you very much once again, Juri Hatamini PSD as the chairman of ISCLO 2020. So, and ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to introduce Director of Telkom University, which today will be represented by Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, Dr. Dadan Rahardian, to deliver his speech on behalf of the university.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and greeting to all. Azari, do you hear my voice?
Yes, very clearly, sir.
Okay, thank you. In less than a year, the global COVID-19 pandemic has devastated most of the world's economy. Even the way we interact with each other, how we do business, and how we live on Earth. Our life become more difficult and very risky. Even just to leave the house to buy food at the market make us think how to do it safely. Everyone is looking for the best way to anticipate the risk of being affected by COVID-19. And the way we anticipated the risk of COVID-19 has resulted in extremely low consumer spending. In fact, the COVID-19 pandemic has become a major factor in the global economic downturn. All businesses, large and small enterprise, are trying to find the best way to serve their customer and survive to live. All government protocol for COVID-19 strive to be applied in their production, services, and delivery of product and services. Some of them are going well, but most of them may fail. Ladies and gentlemen, today may be the best time for the company to become a learning organization, resilient and adaptive to the most extreme changes in the environment. I'm happy that this conference, the International Seminar and Conference on Learning Organization, or ISCLO, takes on a theme that is very relevant to the current situation, learning organization in the new normal era, is the theme for the ISCLO 2020. Apart from the recent pandemic challenges organizational operation, other issues such as technological disruption, demographic changes, the evolving nature of work are the main ingredients of the new normal era. I believe this conference can encourage experts and scholars to share their research results and best practices in relation to these issues. Therefore, I also believe that the important goal of this conference to promote learning from one to another by exchanging ideas and building networks can be achieved. Thank you very much to Professor Alexandros psychologist from Birmingham City University, for your kindness to be the keynote speaker. Our appreciation and gratitude also goes to the panelists in the panel discussion, Dr. Marian Afanasif, University of Hull, UK, Dr. Muhammad Awaludin, CEO of Angkasa Pura II, and Mr. Yose Rizal, member of the Board Commissioner of Telkomsel. On behalf of Rector Telkom University, Professor Adi Wijaya, I'm very grateful to highly dedicated committee. Thank you to Dr. Juri Hatamimi, and thank you to the Dean of School of Economic and Business for supporting this conference. Thank you, Bu Ratri, Dr. Ratri, for reviewers and volunteers for their tremendous support in putting this international conference together successfully. I sincerely hope that ISCLO 2020 had provided a venue for knowledge sharing and established more research collaboration among us. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Dadan, for your inspiring speech to us in this wonderful event. And also would like to say welcome and good morning to our keynote speaker, Professor Alexandros Psikogios. Can you hear us, Professor?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
very much. Yes, of course.
Excellent.
Very clear
Excellent.
and sound.
Excellent.
Okay. Okay, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm fine. Although it's a little bit early in UK here, but I'm fine.
Okay, thank you very much for your time to sharing with us in this lovely morning. And also, I would like to say good morning and also welcome to join to our panelist speaker, Dr. Marianne. Can you hear us? Hello, Dr. Marianne.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello?
Yes.
It's quite
Hello.
early. I'm still eating my toast, I'm afraid. And I couldn't find a way of putting the background, so you'll have to open my door of my main room, I'm afraid.
Okay, thank you very much, however, for your time. As it's very early in the morning, like to be really want to having and sharing with us today. And also, I would like to having all the invited guests, speakers, audiences, and participants kindly to make sure you switch on your camera because we are going to having a moment of photo session with our speaker and also the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs of Telkom University. So kindly to all invited guests, speakers, audience, and participants, please kindly to make sure you switch on your camera for having a moment for photo session with all the participants here with our speakers and also Vice Rector for Academic Affairs of Telkom University. We will please give us your best smile and pose. I will give a mark how to get ready on the first page window. Okay, for the first window photo session, on my mark, 1, 2, 3. Okay, get ready for the second window. On my mark, 1, 2, 3. Okay, the third window on my remark. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. The fourth window on my mark. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the fifth window. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much for all invited guests, participants, all the speakers, for your time to switch on your camera, for having a photo moment with all of us who joined in this session. And ladies and gentlemen, let's start our next session, which we will presenting our today keynote speakers. To let us know about more about our keynote speaker, let me inform you briefly about his profile. Professor Alexandros Psikogios He's got his bachelor degree in political science and public administration from University of Athens. And he's got his master degree for science in public policy and public finance from University of Athens. Also got his MA degree in service management from University of York, United Kingdom. And then he's got his PhD degree in business administration from University of Warwick, United Kingdom. His time being, Professor Alexandros is a professor of international HRM, Birmingham City Business School, Birmingham City University, United Kingdom. He also a visiting professor at University of Sheffield, and Cyprus Institute of International Management, and further, he also an associate researcher at the Gnosis Research Group at the Management School of University of Liverpool and Southeastern European Research Center, or ISCLO, University of Sheffield. He has specialized himself and many got experiences as a consultant in leadership, HRM, PQM, Lean Six Sigma application, performance management system, and reward system. He also a professional trainer for leadership, complexity, neuroscience and management, and performance management. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome our keynote speaker, Professor Alexandros Psikologias.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Thank you so much for the honor, for the invitation, Yuri. Although it is very strange that we meet in that way for the majority of you for the first time, at least still we have the technologies to meet. That's the point that we need to stay, I think, at the moment, and to keep our optimism high. Hopefully, the next time that the conference will take place on site, and of course we have the opportunity. Why not to meet in person? Thank you very much for your kind words, Mohammed. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share some ideas related to learning organization, a very, very important term. Congratulations for the idea to develop a conference like this on this topic. And it's not only that it is a very important topic, it's that nowadays, more than ever, we need our organizations to adapt to change. And I think that you know very well what I mean by saying adapting to change, especially in a period of COVID-19 crisis that change is everywhere. Not that it was not before, but these days is even more hectic, it's even more pressing, because we'd like as organizations to survive, of course, and then to bring results. So let me share my slides with you. Screen. Hopefully you can see my slides. I have decided to not to go to the traditional paths of learning organization, because I feel that this has been studied extensively more than 30 years now. But I would like today with my presentation to make a connection between the learning organization, the collective learning within organizations, with the functions of our brain, our human brain. We know that learning as a process, as an ongoing, as a never-ending process, it passes through our ability to understand things and, of course, to internalize things and externalize them in a particular way. The same applies from not only to the individuals, but also to more collective entities like organizations. So what I will try to do through this presentation is to link the idea of organizational learning to neuroscience, and of course after that to show you some, very briefly of course, because we don't have the luxury of time, very briefly some very practical ideas of how this can happen based on my research and based, of course, on research of others as well. Thank you very much for the nice words. You already know some things about myself that I haven't here. I can share my slides afterwards anyway. I think that I said them already. The truth is that I'm not a neuroscientist, of course. I cannot consider myself as a neuroscientist. I'm more a leadership scholar, and leadership and human resource management scholar, meaning that I try to study leadership and human resource management phenomena within organizations. My interest for neuroscience came 10 years ago approximately, when I realized that human behavior, either on an individual basis or on a collective basis within organizations, is passing through various stages, and one of these stages is through our brain. So what I do at the moment is I'm using neuroscience, I'm using evidence, insights from neuroscience in order to develop. I have my own research center in Birmingham City University. We do a lot of variety of different research, basically multidisciplinary research on how neuroscientific and the more biological evidence can enhance our ability to understand human behavior within organizations, to understand, for example, how and what motivates people, leadership, performance management, and of course, learning. Learning is an essential thing in all organizations, in all places around the world. The result of this effort was the development of a book which is published by Gogan Page and is one of the bestsellers in Gonga Page. It's called Neuroscience for Leaders. The yellow edition is the second edition that came just recently on the 3rd of October. And maybe some of these news apply to you as well. This book has been translated already in both major Chinese languages, in Japanese, in Portuguese, in Vietnamese very soon, and other languages, other translations in different languages will follow. So as I said, what we are going to do today is that to explore just a little bit the issues of learning organization. I'm sure that all of you have understanding of it already. Some of you a little bit more, some of you a little bit less, but it doesn't matter. What it does matter at the moment is that you understand what it means a learning organization. Then I'm going to give you the link between learning organization and neuroscience. And as I said, a little bit after, I'm going to explore very briefly, of course, some basic terms in neuroscience, how we can understand, in other words, the function of human brain and how we can understand that this function has an impact on human behavior in organizations. Without any doubt, when we discuss the learning organization, maybe the two most important figures, or actually three, in the field of organizational learning are the names that you can see in the middle of your screen. Argyris, Son, and Sens. All of them, and of course, plus a lot of others, they have tried to define, to conceptualize, in a sense, the learning organization. For me as an academic, I usually try to focus on simple definitions. Of course, as always, it's happening especially with social sciences. If you open a given book of in organizational behavior or in organizational learning, you can find different definitions. For me, when I'm referring to the term, I'm referring to the capacity of an organization to be able to adapt and change continuously. So the capacity, I repeat myself, an organization to adapt, to adjust its practices, its operations, to the changes that are happening to the outside environment. So this is why you can understand it's so important issue, especially nowadays, that we are experiencing a huge change in the way that we work, in the way that we communicate. A typical example is what we do at the moment, and how important it is to learn from that. So in a sense, if you analyze a little bit, if you think the term learning, it does not mean that just we receive information and we develop an understanding around this information. This is only half of the story. In order to realize what learning is, We need to internalize, of course, the information, knowledge, whatever, and to understand it without any doubt, and then to externalize it in order to do what? To adjust our behavior. So, practically speaking, if you want to test whether someone, an individual person I'm talking at the moment, has learned something or not, you need to observe it in his or her behavior. So the behavior needs to change. A small change in the behavior is enough to give you the indication of learning. So learning is not just to acquire, to find and to acquire and analyze some information. The point of learning is what we should do with this information. And of course, the essence of learning is to adapt. This means to change our behavior, to make our behavior better for organizations, and of course, targeting to survive, especially in these difficult times. Argyris and others, they distinguish about two main processes of learning, the single loop learning and the double loop learning. The single loop learning is that when something has happened, so we have developed already the experience from a mistake that we have done in the past, and we just do not repeat this this mistake. This is okay. I mean that human beings, as well as organizations, they learn to do that very easily. I mean, it's like an example that I can bring, a very obvious one. If I don't know that I see a banana on the floor and I step on it and I slip and fall down, since I didn't know that at the beginning. So the next time that I will see a banana on the floor, it means that I will avoid it in order not to the same thing to happen. This is a typical example of a single loop learning. Exactly the same applies to organizations. If, for example, we see a marketing policy of a company that didn't bring the expected results, meaning that didn't attract a lot of customers, most probably the next time will not do the same. Again, this is an example of single loop learning. But the point is not this one. The point is the double loop learning. This is the challenge according to Argyris. Why the double loop learning? Because the double loop learning includes the issue of adaptation. It means that I don't try just to avoid doing the same mistake, but I adjust all of my operations in order to adapt to the new situation, in order to make my organization rolling through the new situation. I like to use examples. The real learning organization, it reminds me of a surfer. The surfer will never go against the wave because there is no way to beat the wave. The only way the surfer to be able to find his or her balance is to follow the flow of the wave. So this is for me an illustration of adaptation. So I need to find a way to follow the wave. So now, take into example what is happening at the moment. We are experiencing, all of us globally, maybe for first time in the modern human history, in such an extent, a phenomenon. For the last 8 months, we didn't know what to do. Of course, change a lot of our daily professional and personal habits, without any doubt. And the point is, because I see that the term the new era, the new normality, whatever, it appears a lot, it means, what actually this means? This means that we need to adjust. It's not just avoiding the mistake anymore. It is not single loop learning, but it is double loop learning that organizations, they need to develop. In a learning organization context, there are some basic principles. Change accordingly. Also, we need to understand that there should be connections with the environment. This means that the information received from the environment needs to be taken into account. Also, it means that there is an information sharing, knowledge sharing with this organization, meaning that there should be communication channels that openly allow people, allowed agents of an organization, learning agents, as I like to say, to communicate with each other. And of course, to have a common vision that we try to serve. That's extremely important thing. Common vision is something that unites us, and of course the top of the organization, but also other levels of the organization are responsible for providing this. In other words, what I like to say, learning, organizational learning, or learning, the learning organization is a relational process. And what I'm trying to say about this, imagine that we have one member of an organization, either a manager or an employee. We cannot understand an organization by focusing only on that person and his or her actions, his or her decisions. It's not enough anymore in order to understand his or her learning process. Another very important aspect of the learning is the other person or the other people. Maybe there are more than one, which again should be a peer, another manager, another colleague, an employee, it doesn't matter. So what these two, at least two, they do, they interact to each other. And this interaction, it is relational, meaning that the way that each one will interact to what the other will say depends a lot on their relationship. So learning itself, it passes through this relationship. We cannot ignore this relationship. We cannot ignore this relational aspect that these two individuals, at least two individuals, have. Of course, usually there are more. And it's not only that. This learning process does not happening in the outer space. It's not happening, nowhere. No, always, the learning process, this relational learning process, takes place in a particular context. What is this context? This context is, for example, what is happening right now during a COVID-19 crisis, whether we have to deal with another internal organizational crisis, or a new government regulation, or a new competitor, or whatever you can imagine. These are external context. Also internal context. What is happening inside the organization? What is the culture of the organization? What is the organizational climate overall? What are the strategies that we need to fulfill? This is also part of the internal context. So, in order to make a long story short, when we understand learning as a relational process, we need to understand that it contains at least two, by definition, at least two, usually more, that they interact to each other, and of course, they try to achieve something through this interaction. But this interaction, it is happening in a particular context. We cannot ignore the context. Why? Because the context obviously will influence the outcome of this interaction, will influence the outcome of learning. Having said that, and this is the point where there's a link with neuroscience. Neuroscience as a newborn field, because mainly we understand more about the brain of humans because of specific technological advancements that we have the last 30, 40 years approximately, like fMRIs, like similar electroencephalographies and similar things. So the learning process, this relational process of learning, can be understood. One of the aspects that we can understand it is through understanding how the human brain works. Why? Because the human brain can notify us what are the limitations in this learning process, can make us aware about both managers and employees, employees and employees, and what motivates them to learn or not to learn, what demotivates them to learn. And finally, neuroscience can help us to understand also how the environment will influence the behavior, therefore the learning process between the two individuals or more individuals. As I said, neuroscience is a field that developed just recently. The truth is that because it's very fashionable right now to discuss about the brain, and it was actually the last 10 years and it still is, there are a lot of money all around the world that dedicated to research about the brain. And of course, the majority of this research refers to people that they have medical problems like dementia, like Alzheimer's. These are the holy grails for neuroscientists in order to find ways to cure these tremendous and very difficult diseases for humans. But also, Neuroscience provided the opportunity to understand better human behavior. And of course, not only that, to understand better human behavior in particular contexts like organizations. This is exactly the point that I'm interested in. So as I said in the beginning of my presentation, what I'm doing is that I'm taking knowledge and insights from neuroscience, and I try to develop my own research agenda around this knowledge, trying to test a variety of different hypotheses, and of course, to try to understand better human behavior of professionals, managers, employees, customers, sometimes within organizations. Another thing that I would like to clear out from scratch is that we know how the brain works. Actually, neuroscientists know how the brain works. But because that we know how the brain works does not mean that we can control the brain, because this is a myth. Okay, it's like, you know, I know, for example, personally, I know how a piano, you know, the instrument, the music instrument is structured. Doesn't mean that I can play Mozart, since I know how it is structured. Of course not. It's exactly the same with the brain. I know how the brain functions. Neuroscientists know how the brain functions, but doesn't mean that they know how to control it. Actually, what they say, brain, the human brain is one of the most complex, maybe the most complex entity in the universe. And I will explain why. The human brain consists of approximately 86 billion neurons. 86 billion neurons. So if you consider how many brains each one of us have, to say just one, it's not a very accurate answer, because it is a synthesis of an enormous number of neurons, 86 billion neurons. Each one of them is linked to another neuron, and each of the neurons, they have 1,000 connections. We call these connections as synapses. Every time that the synapses happen inside your brain, it activates something. So when you smell something, right now that I'm talking to you, that I'm watching through my screen, everything that we do, it means that specific synapses are activated electrically. So if you just think about, if you try to do the arithmetics, and you try to say 86 billion neurons multiply 1,000, you're going to end up with an enormous number of synapses. Someone said that in order to count them one by one, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the synapses that we have, each one of us in our brains, we need more than 120 years of counting. So you can understand that it's not easy to understand what's happening. And how the brain stores knowledge, and how the brain learns, and how the brain externalizes the learning process, and how the brain transmits knowledge, etc., and information. A more, let me say, down to the earth, or a more simple way to understand the brain is if we separate it in 3 parts. The 3 parts that you can see in front of you. These 3 parts, it's a generic, of course, classification of the brain, but they are connected to each other. Of course, they are connected and influence each other heavily. However, right now we have the knowledge to understand that these are the main 3 parts of the brain, and we know how more or less function. It is called the tribute brain approach, or the tribute brain theory. So based on this, we have our reptilian brain, which is the primitive brain, which is back here approximately. You can see it with the red in your screen. This brain has only one purpose: to keep you alive, to keep you safe. So it will do whatever it takes in order to keep you safe. It's very important for this brain to acquire knowledge, but the way that this brain learns is through the years. We call it evolution. Through evolution provides information to this brain. This brain is approximately 500 million years there, so you can find it in other animals like reptiles. This is why it is called the reptilian brain. And because it is the oldest, it is the strongest brain in our brain system. This brain works with the principles of fight or flight, or avoid or approach, meaning simply that this brain will pick by itself, in a sense, whether you will fight for your life, of course, because this is what this brain believes, or you're going to fly for your life, to run away, in other words. And without any doubt, its basic information, knowledge, it's coming from the our pre ancestors, millions, thousands of years before. The second brain is the limbic system. You can see it with the green on your screen. The limbic system is responsible for the majority, if not all, of our emotions. It includes variety of different subsystems like the amygdala, the thalamus, the hypothalamus, etc. Doesn't matter, the terminology is not that much important for us. What it is important is that every feeling, every emotion that you feel or that you think that you feel, it is coming through the gatekeeper of this brain. And this brain is there 200 million years approximately, according to neuroscientists. And of course, it is strong enough to influence the final brain, the blue one, as you can see it in your screen, which is called the neocortex or the rational mind, as some other researchers they like to say. The last brain is the only one that we can control supposedly conscious. The neocortex, it is 2 million years over there. It is the brain that gives us the ability to think in more logical terms, to make this analysis that we call in businesses cost and benefit analysis, advantages, disadvantages, to compare, and to be able to take decisions. And as you can understand, it's also very useful, and because of that brain, according to them, according to neuroscientists, we have developed everything around us. So, in order to make a long story short, as you can understand, the combination of these three brains are extremely important for our learning process. We receive an information, and the first two brains that will try to filter this information are the reptilian brain and the limbic system. So when you talk to your manager, or when you talk to employees, to your colleagues, to whoever, no matter what the information is, from the most simple to the most important information, this information will pass through the filter of these first two brains, in order then the executive brain, the neocortex brain, to take the lead and tries to give some solution. Which means that the two brains, in a sense, by using my words in quotation, will judge whether the information received, in the learning process between yourself and someone else, whether this information is important enough to be remembered, to be stored to something that we call as the crystallized memory system, okay, to long-term memory system, and be used for our own benefit. I don't know if I can understand this. I know that it is a lot of information that I provide in too short time, but this has enormous implications of the way that we communicate with each other, because at the end of the day, the relational learning process, it means communication. The way we try to communicate new information, the way we try to convince people around our decisions in an organization, it passes mainly first through the first two brains, and then the neocortex takes the lead. There is a very famous neuropsychological researcher, maybe some of you know the name, Daniel Kahneman, that says that the first two brains, the reptilian and the limbic system, he calls them as system one inside us, that always will take the lead, always will try to make us understand what's happening around us. And the neocortex, he calls it as a system two. And he says that this system is lazy, so it doesn't want to take the lead initially, but waits for the other two to decide whether it can take the lead or not. This is why sometimes I say to my students, to my executive students, that when you communicate, especially important decisions, important information to others, you need to talk to the brains, literally, to their brains, meaning that you need to take into account of what is happening. If I'm stressed, if, for example, I feel that, I have this enormous pressure from COVID-19, maybe I'm losing my job, maybe the things, so I feel a lot of fear, automatically it is very questionable to what extent I'm open and ready to accept an XY decision from my organization. This is something that we need to consider very carefully. And if I show that I accept, it doesn't mean that I actually do. This is something else that we need also to remember. As I said, because I know that I have a limited time, there are enormous implications. Some of the facts that we know about the brain is that beyond the survival is also the issue of threats and rewards. Between the two, usually, between the threats and rewards, usually the threats are much more influential in comparison to rewards, unfortunately. And the reason is because of the survival game again. So the brain has learned that through the threats has the main capability to survive. Now, I need to clear out, when I mean threats, I mean mainly negative emotions. So negative emotions activate us to take very, very, very fast decisions. While more positive emotions are more rewarding for the long-term decisions, more creative decisions inside organizations. And the reason is of the two main neurochemicals. One is the cortisol that is related to threats, and the other is dopamine that is related to rewards. Okay, so another thing that we need to understand about learning is this passing through the threats and the reward system. Whenever the learning will be used as a threat, we have a particular target to modify behavior on the spot. Whenever, though, we will target to a more double loop learning, that it requires extra effort, I believe that we need more a focus on the rewards, more focus on positive emotions, to focus more on the long-term outcomes that will come, meet the long-term outcomes that will come as a benefit out of our process to change and to adapt in a double loop method our behaviors. The brain does not like uncertainty. We need to understand that whatever is new is like an enemy. Needless to say that COVID, of course, it is obvious an enemy, but even if the change is positive, even if the change is positive, or usually I try to give an example that even if your friends, they want to surprise you, and they are hidden inside your apartment and you don't know, it's your birthday actually that day, and you open the door, you light, you switch on the lights, and you see a group of people say, surprise, how you're going to react? Most probably you're going to say, you're not going to run towards them, hugging them. This means that your brain, your first initial tiny seconds reaction of even a positive change like this one will not be treated in a positive manner by your brain. And this, of course, has, again, its explanation in the way that the brain develops. Also, your brain saves energy a lot. And this is why I was talking about routines. So in a double loop, we need routines because routines are autopilots in our brain. The way that we do things inside organizations, a lot of them can be considered as routines. Why? Because we don't actually think cognitively in order to do it. Consciously, in order to do it. So we don't need to put any extra brain energy in order to understand what we need to do. We actually need these routines. Otherwise, we're going to be exhausted from the first 5 minutes every time that we wake up. Organizational routines also are very important. And we need to understand which of them we need to target to change, to adapt in order to return back to the routinized position and, of course, go on. The brain always likes easy solutions. We have tons of research confirming that if you give two choices to people and one choice is the obvious, very easy one, and the other is the hard one, the majority of us, fortunately or unfortunately, they are going to pick the easy one without any doubt. Although the majority is something that will lead them to more long-term benefit. And finally, and these are the good news, I think, for learning and for other issues, is that the brain has the ability to modify parts of itself. So if you think that I'm older in an age, so I cannot learn some things, no, that's a lie. If you really actually want to learn something, if you really want to develop a new cognitive capability, the same applies to others, then after repetition and after trying and trying and trying again, yes, you can develop this capability and you can do it. But of course, you need to try and not just once or twice. And this is the problem, that the majority of us, they don't try a lot. So the learning process requires an effort and requires to be persistence towards this effort. This is something that also we need to understand. And what I would like to do now, I would like to close my presentation with what we have developed in our book with my co-author, and we strongly believe that this applies to leaders, of course, but also it applies to learning as well. What are the key points that we need to understand, each one of us, when we try to facilitate learning inside organizations, when we try to facilitate individual and collective learning inside organizations? Actually, we provide 4 pillars. The 3 of them are related to the 3 brains, the thinking, the emotions, and the brain automation. The 4th pillar is vertically penetrated the three previous pillars, and it is related to relations and the way that we communicate. So practically, what facilitates learning? What facilitates communication of learning? First of all, to avoid confusion in the thinking pillar, to avoid confusion, how we can do that? By avoiding overload of information. Although we have tremendous technologies to give us tremendous access to information nowadays, okay, our brain capability, we need to understand that our brain biological capability to consume and analyze this information is exactly the same as our pre-ancestors 600 years ago. We are not cleverer than these people, that period of time. Yes, we are more aware, maybe we are, not maybe, we're definitely more educated, okay, but this does not mean that our brain functions in a faster, better way. This means that if I magically bring someone from that era nowadays and provide him here the additional information, education, whatever, most probably he or she will end up as our average person. Okay, maybe more than average. So this means that we cannot have the capability to analyze a lot of information, and especially to take instant decisions. So be careful of how much information you provide to your people, how much information you try to search for yourself when we want to deal with an issue. This is antithetical, is opposed your brain capability. What is the suggestion? Focus on few options, the ones that you feel that you see as the most possible, as the ones more related to what you try to resolve, to the information that you try to pass or whatever, okay, and stick on them. Even in the case that you have done a mistake and you ignored other part of information, you have the time, because you did take the decision before faster, you have the time to go back and revise your decision instead of focusing on more and more information. You need to provide explanations. We are living in a period of time that explanations, the why of doing things, help a lot, and especially help the executive part of the brain to understand this is why we need to adapt to the new situation. This is extremely important for all members of an organization. We need also to understand where we are going. This is why I was talking before in the learning organization about a vision. We need to have a common vision. We need to have a target, and this target is that united us. I cannot imagine an organization without a target, without a strategy, without a common vision, because all of us, we need to understand that this is the reason why we need to give our extra effort, blah, blah. And of course, to be able to focus on performance that we can achieve. On the emotional brain, we need also to understand that both negative, as I said before, and positive emotions are useful for learning process. But we need to distinguish when the first category of negative emotions is useful, when the second category. And I said, the first category, the negative emotions, and when I say negative emotions, I'm not saying to yell or to treat people in a very bad way. I'm not referring to that. I need to clear out. But to use more fear, more to communicate fear, to communicate in a sense that if we're not going to do that, something will happen, or we're going to have a problem. In that sense, negative emotions. So this type of emotions work better in a learning process when we need to learn instantly, when we need to take decisions and to adjust instantly. But if we would like a more double loop learning process that requires more time, more effort, more our brain capability, bet on positive emotions. Emotions like enjoyment, enthusiasm, pride, these are the emotions that can motivate people to learn and to change. Also, we need to help people adapt. How we can do that? By motivating the brain. You know, the brain is like a big elephant inside us, the emotional brain. The emotional brain has the capability to drive us towards the target. However, because a big elephant, you know, it's a big animal and very strong animal, when this animal sets I'm demotivated, it is very, 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 very difficult to reinitiate it. So we need to actually, from time to time, create this idea inside our elephant brains and our emotional brains that we can do it. So it's not bad to actually try to convince people that from time to time we are closer to the target. We did something small. Okay, it's small, but at least we did something. This means that we are a bit closer to our final target. And finally, personalize it sometimes, especially when we need to talk to specific individuals. Personalization through emotionalization always helps. Brain automations here, definitely, I don't know how many things we can do practically here, but one of the two things that we suggest is try to see whether the physical setting in the environment help us actually to change. If, for example, this is what the research says, that the 36% of the change success, it is based on the reallocation of the premises. So if we believe this research evidence, it means that if we reallocate something, we don't need, of course, to change buildings or to invest on other things, but to reallocate something inside the building, this can help the brain to do a small reset, as I like to say, and try to think in different ways. Sometimes, for example, I say, and I do this by myself, when I'm really a lot of times in front of my screen and I feel that I cannot being able to learn anymore, to read anymore, to talk anymore, what I do is I stand up, I take my laptop and I go to the other room just to change a little bit the environment, the physical setting, I mean, that I'm working, that this helps, at least for a while, the brain to do this reset. And of course, routines. Routines are very important. Habits are very important. We need to think which of these habits needs to change. So what action triggers? They need to be activated or reactivated additionally. We would like to cancel the routines, and reactivated additionally would like to establish new routines. Finally, the relations, something that I've said already many times, talk to the brain. How we can do that? Oh, various ways. One way is feedback. We need to provide feedback, not only the formal feedback as managers, but the daily communication that I'm referring here can be considered as a feedback on the things that other people do. And of course, the same applies to us. So not only to provide feedback, but also to receive feedback. So open the doors of feedback with your peers, with your employees, with the people that you work with your friends. We grow together, we live together, we work together, and therefore we need to help each other to understand how this learning will take place. And I strongly believe that feedback can help with that. And feedback doesn't need to be, formal, informal feedback. Most of the times helps better, and of course, very specific one. Having said that, I would like to complete my presentation. What I have tried to do, as I said initially, I have tried to link the notion of learning, collective organizational learning to the brain. Hopefully, I was clear enough to make my point clear. But of course, I'm open to any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It is such a wonderful, interesting, and
I cannot hear you very well, Yuri. Either you need to be louder or.
thank you very much for your presentation. It's very interesting and then also wonderful and inspiring to all of us who hears this in Indonesia, especially for the participants in this conference. Thank you very much for your presentation. And on behalf of the committee, we are going to give you a certificate as our gratitude and also appreciation to Professor Alexandros Physikodios. And here's the certificate.
Thank you. Are there any questions that I can respond to?
For this speaker session, there is no question and answer. And we, as the committee, we will gather any questions, if any, from the audience or the participant, and we will deliver the question for you. If you have the time to respond, we are very thankful for you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next agenda in this session is discussion panel, which of course related to our conference themes today. The discussion panel will present invited speakers who are competent and experienced in their field. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, audience and participants, our next agenda in this session is discussion panel, which of course related to our conference themes today. The discussion panel will present invited speakers who are competent and experienced in their field, both in academic research and also in the industry. Before we start this agenda, I will read the terms and conditions in order to make our discussion more beneficial and enjoyable. First of all, make sure you already display your Zoom account with format, origin of your institution, underscore your name. Make notice that all sessions in this event will be recorded for documentation purpose. Participants' microphone will be mute during the session. And participants and audience can deliver your question, if any, by sending a message in Zoom chat feature account. If you have more than one question, make sure you all will in one answer to avoid useless point questions with others. And also, don't forget, which speaker do you want to ask to? Moderator will collect and choose among those questions and deliver to the speaker with the subject. Apology if your question is not answered yet by the speaker yet because the time availability matters. And of course, in this discussion will be led by the moderator who have expertise and experience on conducting research and learning in education, science, and managerial practices. Yes, briefly, I will inform our profile as follows. Dr. Feti Purwitasari. This time being, she is a lecturer at management program at School for Economics and Business Alpha University. And also, she is an internal auditor at Telkom University. Mrs. Feti has his first degree from Pajajaran University in English Proficiency Program. And she has her master degree also in English Proficiency from Indonesian Education University and got her doctoral degree in Education Administration from Indonesian Education University. Some important position at Telkom University has been going by her, with the latest position as the Director of Postgraduate Program and Advanced Learning until this February 2020. Many research published in reputable scientific journal and community service become her usual activities. The latest published research is the impact of compensation on teachers' performance at SMK TI Garuda Nusantara Cimahi that published in this 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome our moderator, Dr. Feti Purwitasari.
Thank you, Pak Hari. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to check my voice. Is that clear, Pak Asari? Check.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes,
Thank
very
you so
clear.
much. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the panelists and participants. The topic for our discussion today is learning organization in the new normal era. As we know that technological disruption, demographic change, the evolving nature of work, and the latest pandemic challenge the organization's operations. How well an organization can cope with, make adjustment to, and survive from the current turbulent condition can be considered as the organization learning process. Therefore, the outcome is a learning organization. This organizational learning process happens in various areas of organization as well as various fields of business. It does not only occur in the profit-oriented organization, but also in the non-profit organization. There are the creation of knowledge, the retention of knowledge, and the transfer of knowledge conducted, which impact on organizational performance and innovation. Today, we have three panelists who are very expert in their field. They all will talk about how organizations cope with the pandemic COVID-19. The first is Dr. Marianne Afanasieva. She will talk about the UK organization. The second panelist is Mr. Yose Rizal, who will present about the telecommunications sector. And the last panelist is Dr. Muhammad Awaluddin, who will share about the transportation sector. I will inform first about the time for each panelist to present. The time is 15 minutes, so I will remind the panelists that the time is 1 minute left. And for the participants, we have question and answer session after all panelists finish their presentation. Don't forget that we have giveaways, 4 vouchers of 800,000 rupiah from our sponsor, Prodia, for basic immunity test. These vouchers will be given to 4 first participants who ask questions to the panelists. Now I will invite the first panelist, Dr. Marianne Afanasieva.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There will be like bumper, Dr. Marianne. I will read the CV of Dr. Marianne Afanasieva first.
Okay.
She got her BA and MA in Political Economy, Department of Economics, Moscow State University, Lomonosov, Russia. Master of Science in Economics, Department of Economics, University College London, UK. And PhD in Russian and East European Studies, Center for Russian and East European Studies, the University of Birmingham, UK. Her current positions are Head of Organizational Behavior and Human Resource Management Subject Group at Hull University Business School, Senior Lecturer in Organizational Analysis and Behavior at Hull University Business School, and member of the Culture, Place and Policy Institute. Her specialization and experience are new institutional approaches, economic sociology, issues of trust and networks, creative and cultural industries. Without further ado, please welcome Dr. Marianne Afanasieva.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Fethi Porvita Sari, for the most flattering introduction. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the Rector of Telkom University, Professor Adi Jaya, and I would like to thank very much Dr. Juri Khatamimi for the invitation to participate in this wonderful event. I'm very sorry not to be there in person, but of course we know why that is the case. I hope that this pandemic finishes soon and we will be able to see each other in person and be able to be more in touch on a human level. But failing that, this is the best we can do. So technology helps us out, and that's fantastic. That's great. I shall share my slides with you. When a jury asked me to look at the UK example, I thought about what is the current research that I'm doing, what is the interest that I have, and as you mentioned, creative and cultural industries is something that I'm very much interested in, and I'm specifically interested in the experience of UK theatres, how they are coping with the situation. And I know that it's not, I was given only actually 10 minutes for this presentation, but we'll see how it goes. I wanted just to highlight certain issues. I shall share my screen with you.
Yes, please.
So the my topic is how are UK organizations coping with the pandemic, and I specifically focus on the creative and cultural sector with an example of UK theatres. I would like to start my presentation with a quote from an actor, very fittingly, Bertie Carvel. What he says is very pertinent. The coronavirus pandemic has forced theaters all over the world to close with no knowing when, or in some cases if, they will reopen. Even after the infection rate spikes and the R numbers brought under control, is anybody going to want to sit in a crowded auditorium, cheek by jowl with strangers? That coming together, though, is the very essence of theater, the sharing of physical space as well as stories. So we face a truly existential crisis. So actor Bertie Carvel is the founder of Lockdown Theatre Festival, which basically what it does is he organized this initiative to take theater productions that were not able to go forward because of the pandemic, because many theaters were working, they were creating work, they were going to put on work on the stage, and of course when the first lockdown happened in March, all of this had to be abandoned. So he created this project whereby the work that was in progress, the work that didn't get put on, the work that started can be finished, can be reconfigured as work not for the stage in the way that we are used to, but as work to be put on radio. And Radio 4, BBC Radio 4 is the partner in this. So it's a very interesting project to help theaters move on and survive with their projects. So what is happening? What was happening with theaters and the pandemic? In the UK, we have two periods of lockdown, which are restrictive measures. And this led to the enforced closure of cultural venues. So the first one happened, as you probably know, in March, July 2020. And then the very recent one we have just experienced beginning of November until beginning of December. We're going to still have lockdown and restricted cultural venues are again closed, shops are again closed, but the universities and schools and construction sites and things like that are open. So it's the areas where people can be physically interacting with each other and in close contact with each other that are not operational anymore. What does that mean for theaters? Well, first of all, most administrative staff are being put on furlough, meaning that the government is paying 80% of their salary. And this has happened during the first period of pandemic. And then it is happening now, it's been extended until beyond the beginning of next year of 2021. So the idea is that the people who are in the theaters, who are the administration staff, the auxiliary staff, Most of them have been furloughed, but not all. But we're also interested in the main sort of part of the theater creation process, which is the creative staff. So the actors, designers, engineers, and all those involved in the productions are all working as freelancers. So they are not employed, not full-time employees of the theaters. So it's not easy for them to get government support. And also, as usual, because of the nature of freelance work, this work is seen as precarious as well. So these people are in a very difficult situation. So what happened in terms of what kind of challenges do artistic directors who are in charge of the creation of the programs and directing of the performances, theater performances, what are the main challenges that they face? Well, first of all, the buildings are empty, right? The buildings are closed, theaters are closed. How do they find ways of funding and keeping that building alive? Yeah, because 90% of the subsidized theater's income is mostly coming from ticket sales, from box office, and also from cafes and bar revenue. So all of these things have to close. The other challenge is how to keep serving their audiences. Yeah, Alexandros Psychogios, my colleague who was previously before Birmingham City University, he was at Hull University, he was talking about the neuroplasticity. Well, in order to keep people's neuroplasticity, they have to engage. They engage in art, they engage in theater, they engage in viewing and being affected by the performances. So this link with the performance, link with the audiences is very important. And the last issue is how to keep employing staff and freelancers on minimum budgets. So what do the theaters do to cope with this crisis? Theaters needed to learn new things. They needed to learn new ways to engage with the audiences. They needed to learn, and they did learn, new ways to produce work. And they also learned new ways to gain income. And this is happening in the following ways. So first of all, of course, we all are very familiar with Zoom. Yes, we're using Zoom now. So Zoom has been used also by theaters and other other platforms. So using technology to make pre-existing work available. So what the National Theatre has done, for example, is to take their recorded performances, the bank of their recorded performances, and make it available for people online for free over a set number of days. So they would say that a certain performance will be available during these days, a certain performance will be available during the next period of days, etc., etc. So people could log in and be able to watch those online. Now, the Royal Shakespeare Company went beyond that and did productions that were streamed via pay-to-view hosts. So they actually organized productions and then made them available to view in real time via pay-to-view hosts. Another way that theaters try to do this, try to do new things and learn new ways, is to use technology to make new work and present to the audience. So, for example, Pitlochry Festival Theatre in Scotland, which I actually wanted to, already in March, I was there. I actually saw when they were trying to put on this performance, and I was going to shadow them doing different things and how to learn how they operate as a theater. This was beginning of March. And of course, by the time I came back, we had lockdown, so that was not possible. But what they did, they took that performance and they connected with the BBC Radio 3 to transform it into a new play that was specifically written to be performed on the radio. So it's also available online. And they made also an added bonus of having questions and answers with actors, director, and writer. So the audience could feel that they also have an interaction, not just with the process of getting the production to them, but also they were able to connect, contact, and ask questions from the creators of this production. And the last one that I was looking at was using technology to create new work and present it in work in new ways and to present this work in new ways. So, for example, the London-based theatre, Lawrence Batley Theatre, was looking at putting a play called Toast, and this is done by Nigel Slater, who is a celebrity chef. He's a cook. He writes a column about cooking in the national paper, in The Guardian, and in The Observer. So he recreated a stage show for online. And basically what they made people do was to have not only the tickets to the event, not only access to the production as it was streamed, but also they received the recipe card so that they can start to cook, because the play is about cooking, so that they can immerse themselves in the play. So they had a sensory experience, so they could smell the same smells as if they were in the theater where the play was being performed. So people engaged by the internet, and they felt as if it was a live, sort of in the live performance, live audience kind of way. So a limited number of tickets were sold, and they were all tuned at the same time. So just to kind of reiterate, the learning organization, what is it? Well, Bob Garrett, a very renowned academic and consultant based in London, says that organizations became effective only if they master two skills: learning continuously and giving direction. Both of these things the theaters are doing. A culture of learning is essential for business functioning and is key for organizations as they try to cope with change. So theaters are learning fast, especially when it comes to communication, because they need to communicate between the creators and productions, and constant communication exists with the audience. And of course, in terms of the creativity, the Alex Clifton, another interesting artistic director with very many different innovative and creative projects, he was saying after the first lockdown that boredom is particularly helpful because it's surely one of the most creative states. So basically, he's saying that creative people, they cannot sit still. They cannot just sit in lockdown and do nothing. There's always going to be something that drives them, that makes them create content. But the new challenges that the theaters have to learn is how to make creative output pay, because a lot of things online, obviously, people started to expect getting things online free, but theaters, as you see, have started to do this. They started to provide things and then ask people to pay, ask people to subscribe for new productions, to buy tickets in advance. And also the main challenge is how not to lose creative talents, because these people are freelancers. These people need to eat. These people need to survive. So how are they going to stop them redirecting themselves to other occupations? Yeah, so that's the big challenge. Losing talent is really a big challenge. So the pandemic offers a unique opportunity to revisit and challenge organizing as usual and to explore new ways of understanding the learning organization in the new normal era. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marianne. Very interesting, very insightful, the experience from the theater in UK. And then we are going to go to our second panelist. I will invite Mr. Yose Rizal.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. I will read the CV first. Bapak Yose. Okay, I will read the CV of Mr. Yose Rizal. He got his bachelor's degree in Regional and City Planning Bandung Institute of Technology. His current positions are member of the Board of Commissioners of Telkomsel, Chairman and founder of Media Wave Group, and founder of Political Wave. His specializations and experience are in big data, Web 2.0 and mobile site, search engine optimization, social media marketing, location-based advertising, digital data mining, monitoring and analysis, mobile application and mobile advertising, digital advertising, branding, politics, intelligence, and strategy. Please welcome Mr. Yose Rizal.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Fetty. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So I will share some slides about how we in Telkomsel adapt with the situation, especially during the COVID situation. Actually, we already start this initiative before the COVID situation, but COVID situation actually accelerate our learning transformation of organization. So my name is Yose Rizal. So let me share some slides to you. Okay, so basically in Telkomsel, we have our business objective, and now we are in the transformation from a telco company to become the digital telco company. So we have several value levers like broadband, data-centric leadership, B2B accelerator, family, and also home expansion, and also some digital innovation. So basically, we have eight directorates: network, IT, planning and transformation, marketing, sales, CEO office, human capital, and also finance. And we try to build a new culture, new corporate value to become our foundation. So we have an initiative, we call it Digital X, and the expected result is we have many change agents or booster inside of our organization, and we have a program, we call it Resilient Leadership. It's a mandatory program. It's a leadership, managerial, and also core competencies program. And expected result, we want to have as many as a role model in our organization. And also we need to transfer some critical capability. Like now we already identify we have 23 critical capabilities like data science, UI UX, and we want to have many certified experts on new critical capability. So we have several digital prodigy or TEDfest or academic program. So like certified employees with their own respective competencies, whose skill and competencies are relevant of the organization. So we bring these employees to expert pool, and leaders become a role model with digital leadership. They have a digital visionary and also transformational that will serve as a role model. And we have many festive and living through through 7 digital culture like agility and flexibility, digital first mindset, open culture, collaboration, data-driven decision making, innovation, and also customer centricity, and the Telkomsel way. So we have a Telkomsel way, great people, great strategy, great innovation, concept of integrity, respect, enthusiasm, loyalty, and totality. So this culture and this new Telkomsel way is slowly replacing the old ways of festive culture activation. So this is some example. So we have a transformational expert development festival. We call it TEDfest. So TEDfest is a capability development program which focuses in building internal critical capability in digital business. So right now we have 23 capability, and 7 will be developed in 2020. So we have we invite many external experts that related to capability, and you can see this is some of new capability for Telkomsel like cybersecurity, data science, machine learning, data engineer, data analytics. So we believe that with this capability, we will become the digital telco leader. Okay, and this is some of the program. We call it Sarina, sharing internal kita. So like a sharing season offline before the pandemic, and after pandemic we convert to online. So like Sarina Bertamu, usually it comes from user request. So topic and suggested speaker is divided by unit requester based on their need. So we targeting more smaller number of participants based on their need, based on their skill, etc. And also we have an update with pros. So we have many professional hire employee. So it's mandatory for them to share their expertise. So pro hire is required to write article on PIJAR. PIJAR is our platform and help to sharing session. And we also have a Telkomsel Innovation Award. So the objective is to fostering innovation culture in our enterprise. So it can contribute to sustainable growth and employee engagement. They have to presenting innovative success of employees to the broader audience and highlight and recognize the most innovative achievement of Telkomsel employee. So we see from 2013 to 2019, the number always increase. So like the latest Innovation Award in 2019, we have collected 273 ideas. It's the highest number. So now we have focus idea in the digital product, internal process improvement, IoT, AI, data analytics, 5G, and other digital technology. And also we encourage new ways of working and agile thinking. So this is our learning and inspiring platform. We call it PIJAR, so Platform Inspirasi and Belajar. So in this knowledge management platform, this is the knowledge management platform for all employees to access various learning content. So we have an upload article, video, submit idea, curated knowledge content like video learning and article in certain area like agile leadership, digital X activation videos, work from home series, agile management, introduction to 5G, etc. This is also our digital learning platform. So it's self-learning as a method of delivery, employee development. So they can learn everywhere, they can learn anywhere. So it contains learning modules, skill, leadership skills, soft skill, technical, etc. So we have like three major platform partners: Persipio, content about technical and soft skill, Harvard Management, leadership and managerial skill, and Udemy, certification, preparation, technical, and also soft skill. So all of our employees can access this platform. So this is the example of Sarina series. So we have our internal and also external speaker. So we want to change the way of working as agile as they can. So agile way of working as a way to accelerate experimental values on the job. So from our side, key agile values is people and interaction. So it's over process and tools, cross-function collaboration, use of collaboration tools, and progress over perfection. So like we have bi-weekly showcase to investment committee, transformation management office, or other stakeholders. We want our employee to think big, but they can start small and fast. And we have customer experience over product. So we're always doing continuously customer discovery, like interview, survey, etc. Identifying customers' pain points and journey, and responding to change over a following plan. So constant iteration through customer testing and feedback. So this is some of our key principles that our employee have to remember throughout along that journey, customer satisfaction, the changing requirements, frequent delivery, business and delivery work together, self-organizing squads, regular reflection and adaptation, motivate individual, sustainable development. Output is a measure of progress, face-to-face conversation, simplicity, and also technical excellence. So we have agile squads. So agile squads will work in set duration to build a minimum viable product, taking an iterative approach. So we have some process like sprint. Sprint is a fixed period of time in which the agile squad works toward achieving the sprint goal. And all the squad, they have the squad mission, the solution to a problem they are trying to solve. And also they must do the sprint planning, where the squad determines the items they will work on during that sprint and discuss the initial plan for completing those items, and also sprint to do. So it's a list of tasks identified by the squad to be completed during the sprint, and their routine is daily stand-up. So it's like a core practice with the objective to improve collaboration between the members of squad. And they have a showcase. So the showcase is designed to show stakeholders and project owners progress. The product or service is usually held at the end of the sprint to demonstrate functionality and new features, and also sprint retrospective. So meeting where the squad talks about what's working and what isn't in each sprint. So the point of a retro is to fix problem and focus on the things that are working well. So the success factor is definition of done. So how the agile squad know if it has achieved the sprint goal or not, and iterative solution. So it's the incremental solution built by the agile squads during each sprint. So we have some roles and responsibility in every squad. They have like sprint planning, attend by governance committee. There is stand up, also governance committee, and when they have to showcase, it's attend by governance committee and also the investment committee, because it's will realign on OKR, OKR, and measure the OKR to the showcase, and also the sprint perspective. So this is the example of real case in Telkomsel. So we have like one squad, they have a problem like Umrah or Haji, Umrah or Hajj pilgrim getting lost during rituals. So they have to bring heavy guide or follow the tour leader during rituals. And tour leaders sometimes afraid of group members getting lost with no roaming service. And so the solution is end-to-end halal travel platform that provides geo-tracking and panic button. So customer can use this app during Umrah or Hajj ritual. So they have to define the unique value proposition and also the competitive advantage and the customer segment and existing alternative. So they have the key metrics like number of downloader, search engine ranking position, time spent on app, traffic, etc. So high-level concept, for example, like this, Sobat Safar is an integrated end-to-end application that will help create seamless Umrah or Hajj experience. And channel, so they can do online through apps in Play Store and App Store, and they can do offline through campaign through travel agent. So the objective of the target of early adopters is to leaders that have trouble handling large number of pilgrim group members. And so this is the minimum requirement of the team, like business member, UI, UX, design, IT, brand com, and number of hours they have to prepare, number of investment, and also they have to sell what is the value of this program, of this service, or of this application to Telkomsel. So, for example, like this is increasing reach to new roaming customers by leveraging a network travel agent, positioning Telkomsel as a trusted travel companion, and also strategic travel ecosystem partnership with OTA, travel service provider. So, in order to do for the tribe to be successful during the activation, we must ensure that they are equipped with the right collaboration tools. So, like for example, collaborative tools We have a CloudX. CloudX is a Telkomsel cloud-based office communication service that can optimize business communication and productivity. We use also Microsoft Squads, Miro, and also Zoom. And for management tools, we use Trello, we use FunRetro, and also we use our own social networking tool, is Moana. Moana is a Telkomsel internal application. So for us, Agile is a mindset, a way of working, and a culture that needs buy-in across an entire organization. So it's not a set of direction. It's not a checklist. And plus, I have a short movie, so we can imagine what is the Agile squad like. Okay, thank you. That's all for me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yose Rizal, for a very insightful presentation. You are talking about Sharina, yeah? I thought it is the name of the singer, Indonesian singer, yeah? But it is Sharina, not Sharina, yeah?
Yeah.
And then also your Agile Squad. We are going to talk more about Agile Squad, but we are going to invite our third panelist. We are going to invite Dr. Muhammad Awaluddin. Okay, Bapak Awaluddin, present. Has already joined with us. Okay, thank you so much, Pak Awal. Okay, and I will read his CV first. Yeah. Dr. Muhammad Awaluddin, he got his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, Sriwijaya University, Palembang. Master of Business Administration from European University, Antwerpen, Belgium. Doctor of Science in Management from Pajajaran University, Bandung. And his current positions are as a CEO of Angkasa Pura II, a state-owned enterprise for airport management, President Commissioner of Angkasa Pura Cargo, and President Commissioner of Angkasa Pura Solusi. He got award as Digital CEO of the Year in 2019 and the Best State-Owned Enterprise CEO for Visionary category. His specialization and experience are in strategic management, digital transformation, service and marketing, operation, human capital development, quality management, corporate governance, and leadership. Please welcome Dr. Muhammad Awaluddin. Please unmute the mic, Pak Awal. Your mic is still mute. Pak Awal, please unmute. Pak Awal, please wait a moment. Yeah, we will check about the technical problem here because we cannot hear your voice.
Now it's okay.
I thought that it is from
before.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay.
The problem is in the host, not in me.
That's why I have to check the technical problem first. Okay, thank you, Pawal. You may start your presentation.
So thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my session. Thank you to ISCLO Committee and Telkom University for inviting me as one of the panelists today. Today, I would like to presenting how is the aviation sector cope with pandemic, how well an organization can cope with, make adjustment to, and surviving from the current turbulence condition, and can be considered as the organizational learning process. The slide, is there any possibilities to show the slide?
Can you share the slide, Awal? Okay.
There is one of my team. There is one of the team join in the
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will give the
name is Rido.
Rido. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the committee can help to open or make Rido as a host to share our screen. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So again, thank you so much. So okay, next. So the COVID-19 outbreak has been declared a pandemic by WHO in March 11, causing huge impact on the aviation industry and the business related. an overall reduction of the air passengers, both international and domestic, ranging from 59% to 60% in 2020 compared to 2019. The report from the ISCLO report as we have today. And the estimated loss of approximately 60% of passengers traffic and 61% or over maybe around 104 billion US dollar airport revenues in 2020 compared to business as usual, the report from the ACI. And also the problem also in airlines, I think the report say that 54.7% decline of revenue passengers kilometers or RPK, both international and domestic in 2020 compared to 2019. The report coming from IATA. Next. The similar things happen in Indonesia. Passengers and airplane movement in AP2 airports. We have 19 airports, mostly in western part of Indonesia. Our 19 airport has decreased until 95% per day, especially when the worst situation in May 2020. So at the beginning of pandemic, we can see the chart in April 25th. The traffic only had 1,060 passengers for 19 airports, the lowest traffic that we ever had in history of AP2. But the slowly return until today, we can manage the traffic at average. Now it's already 100,000, 110,000 passengers and more than 1,000 aircraft movement in a day. So thanks to the God, because in Indonesia, domestic traffic passengers is very huge number. The passengers traffic prediction until 2020 at the end will reach 35 million passengers, which is minus 60% growth. Exactly the same as ISCLO prediction that the slide before. Next. I think airport have many advantages as a public transportation. One, the important things is airport have flexibility. In Indonesia transport system, the airport have flexibility in terms of public movement, and the industry also have big capacity in terms of size and the connectivity in terms of connecting between the inter-islands. Because don't forget, Indonesia is the archipelago countries. I think the most important thing for the government is making a connection between the islands. So that's why I think this kind of the situation make airports have an important role to play for the economic recovery in Indonesia. AP2 or Angkasa Pura II as an airport operator, we must be able to foster the public confidence in the activity during the pandemic in order to suppress the spread of COVID-19 and also boosting the economic recovery. So next, what we did in the mid of COVID-19 pandemic actually. Okay, next. Angkasa Pura II as a group of the company react swiftly by changing our strategic direction in response to COVID-19 global pandemic. Shifting the strategy from growth strategy to the stability. So this is the corporate level strategy actually. The second corporate level strategy, which is a portfolio strategy, we changed also from the adjacent business portfolio. We move back to the core business, focus on the core business, and
the third one is in the corporate level strategy, which is the parenting strategy. We changed from the strategic guidance into the financial control. Why the most important thing in the financial control? Because we need control all the financial aspect that we have numbers in the group. So options are considered to maintain the basic operation, focusing on the core portfolio and tightly controlling for the financial resources. The strategic objective for its strategies is to respond to COVID-19 outbreak period. The lesson learned from the slide, I think, when the company see the difficult situation, and the most important thing is how to change in the corporate level strategy. So make it easy, just change. So it is not important. I think when the corporate level strategy is already stated before. Next. The changing of the strategy, we divide into the three phases of the action. The first one is, we call it, we are playing in the business continuity management situation. So the most important thing is we set up the period of business survival. What is important and in this period, I think we need to predict that we will continue this phase until the vaccine is available in Indonesia. The second one is we can move into the business recovery phase or business recovery period. On that situation, we predict that we will be on the phase that after vaccine is ready and the regional restriction is vanished. So I think also the important thing is the third one is we can move into the business sustainability period. In the first phase, we have been developed two main initiatives, business survival initiative and the new normal initiative. In business survival initiative, we have three programs. That is workforce protection, and then how to optimize the cash flow within the pickle variant, and the third one is securing the P&L. So that's why I think in its program also have initiatives from the program support into the strategic objectives. And you know what? After the 6-month COVID-19 outbreaks, next slide. So AP2 still in the survival business mode. We maintain the survivability of the company with the three focus of action. That is, one is how to reconfigure of the structure. So the structure make it slim. The second one is restoring the unoptimal business, do the pivot of the business. So make it fast, create the opportunity. And the third one is replace the unimportant things. So get the focus, because the time is very limited. The resource is also limited and the target is quite big. So that's why I think the organization need to focus on the important things. Next. One of the policies from our strategy is how to ensure the financial stability during the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's why at the end of the February, starting from March 2020, the company creating the three of business optimization initiative, BOI. The BOI number one is focused on the cost leadership, how to control the use of the budget by limiting the realization of the operating expense. And you know what? The result is through the cost leadership program, we can minimize more than 40% from the budget in every month. So totally that cost saving from January to October, we can save almost 2 trillion IDR. 2 triliun rupiah.
So the second one is through the BOI, Business Optimization Initiative Program, is focused on the cash management. Means that the organization need to optimize the disbursement of account receivable from the business activities. We need to suppressing the ACP or average collection period and regulate the use of cash funds to maintain the company liquidity. The result is until today, the cash position in the quarter 3 of 2020, we can have 3.01 trillion IDR, and we can make the financial support from the lenders more than 160 billion IDR. So the BOI number 3 is capex disbursement. What does it mean? Means the organization or the company focus on investment program that quick yield by considering risk return analysis, by reviewing the optimal absorption schedule, scheme, and payment period of the capex in line with the company's cash flow. Because we have the difficult situation, so that's why I think the most important thing is we do it some capex cut program. So the investment program changed from 268 previously and to become 89 programs only. So the capex budget cut from 7 trillion IDR to 118 billion IDR. So capex cut 90%, cost cutting. So next, in the pandemic situation, we also developed the new airport operation scheme that we are dividing into 4 operation schemes. The first scheme is normal operation. The second is slow down operation. The third is minimum operation level 1. And the last one is minimum operation level 2. Means the difference between 4 operation scheme is in the resources that we use for the operation of the airport depending on the traffic movement. So we don't close the airport, only change the operational level. Until today, the operational status in our airports are minimum level 1 for 18 airports and minimum level 2 for 1 airport. So that's why we can save so much money for that reason. The operational scheme, the level will automatically changes as the traffic growth day to day. So there is a new flexibility that we don't have before the pandemic. Next. Currently, Angkasa Pura II or AP2 is working to increase the flight traffic to accelerate the recovery of the core business with the 3 main initiatives. That is, we can see from the supply side. The supply side means we need to maximizing the airport slot which is the traffic slot. We need to maximize every day. The second one is we can see from the demand side, means we need to activate more route and more destination from our airport. And also we need to talk with the airlines operator how to increase the flight frequency in every day. So that's why from the supply side and demand side, the recovery of the core business with the 3 main initiatives that we do is quite happen daily and analyzing in every opportunity. Next. To ensuring the financial ability, AP2 periodically conducts the stress test or the financial stress test based on the analysis and prediction of the air transport traffic movement regularly. Our projection periodically based on macro and micro analysis, internal historical data, and also based on the report. Let's say in every 3 months or in every quarter, we have the ISCLO report, the IATA report, and the ACI report. ACI means Airport Council International, and we make the data assumption from that. We predict until the end of 2020 with the 3 scenario, that is, we have a best scenario, bad scenario, and worst scenario. So we can anticipate for each scenario before it happened. The picture on the slide giving the sign that green is a best scenario, blue is bad scenario, and the red line is a worst scenario. So what is that happen in every month? We continually making the adjustment according to our business plan. Next, the program that we have also with the community is we're running the Safe Travel Campaign program. Why we need to making a campaign together with the stakeholders is because of during the pandemic there is a wariness of the passengers to fly. So that's why from the Safe Travel Campaign, the 3 main objectives that we need to share to our stakeholder is how the operational and the staff prepare all the things with the baseline of the biosecurity and biosafety management system. And the second one is how to ensure a safe experience. That's why airport is a safe place. Airline or aircraft is also a safe place for the passengers. So there is no wariness again. So the objective result of the Safe Travel Campaign is how to rebuilding the trust and confidence for the stakeholders. Next. We continue making various kinds of breakthrough and innovation efforts to maintain the company's services and business in the midst of the coronavirus, the corona pandemic. So I think what we believe is a pandemic gives many lessons learned to us. The key word for us is don't stop to make innovation and breakthrough, and those are, we call it the survival innovation. Next. That's why we making running and making breakthrough and innovation. So that's why that is our achievement in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic. Thanks to the God that AP2 can post the status that Soekarno-Hatta International Airport in the World Top 100 Airports 2020, the Soekarno-Hatta International Airport global rank 35th by the Skytrax institution. And also Soekarno-Hatta International Airport can be declared as the most improved airport in Asia Pacific by ACI, Airport Council International. And just today, we just received the certification from the Airport Health Accreditation by Airport Council International, which is our procedure and COVID-19 protocols is already complied by the ISCLO regulation. And for the company, we just get also the ratings, AAA ratings by the FEFINDO. There's also the PR award that we can have the gold winner, which is the communication is good. And last 2 months, we also get the reward from Safe Travel Barometer, ranked number 34 out of 217 global airports all over the world. Next. So I think from the COVID-19 pandemic has been giving us a valuable lessons, the valuable lesson learned, right, to minimize the impact of the current situation. So the first one is how we can optimizing the operational costs. That I already mentioned previously, that we can save quite a huge number of the operational costs until 2 trillion IDR. And the bottom line for that reason is we get the EBITDA, the positive IDR of 594.5 billion. So this is very important for us because in the difficult situation, we still can get the positive EBITDA. The second one is the balance sheet restructuring. Yeah.
I should remind you that the time, 1 more minute.
Yeah, one slide more.
Okay.
So the lesson learned number 2 is we need to making a focus on balance sheet restructuring. That currently we have focused to manage the balance sheet restructuring, which is how we focus to manage the asset and the portfolio. The final one is digital adoption. Digital adoption is a must. During the pandemic, the digitalization is almost in every aspect for the company. I think digitalization making efficiency and optimizing the cost also. Okay, the final slide. I think that is enough. Thank you so much for the committee to give all the time for us to share the experience from the APT. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pak Awal, for a very interesting presentation. Yeah? So at least we know about the strategy that has been used by AP2 in order to overcome the pandemic for COVID-19. Okay, thank you to all panelists for the excellent presentation. Now we are in question and answer session. I will remind you again that we have giveaway 4 vouchers of 800,000 rupiah for basic immunity test from Prodia for 4 first participants who ask questions directly to our panelists and keynote speaker. So I will just give the voucher for the participants who will ask directly to our panelists and keynote speaker in this session. And don't forget to mention your name and your institution. Okay, you can use the feature in Zoom. You can use feature raise hands if you want to get the voucher from our sponsor, from Prodia. If you have already write your question through chat, maybe you can just read the chat and directly you address to which panelist or keynote speaker that the question for. Okay? No? Okay. Then I'm going to read the questions. Yeah. So I still wait for the participants who are interested.
Excuse me,
yes?
Betty, there's somebody raised a hand.
Oh, sorry.
Somebody did raise a hand.
Oh, okay. So okay. I cannot see from here. Okay, maybe if you want to ask question, just directly unmute your mic. Okay, I cannot. Raise. Oh yeah. Pak Aryo Pudianingrat ya, Pak Aryo, and then Bu Leni Susan after Pak Aryo ya. Okay, Pak Aryo, please directly address your question.
Yep. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I have several questions. The first question is for Pak Yose.
Yeah.
How are you, Pak Yose? I'm Aryo from Telkomsel also, Pak. Pak Yose, the question is regarding the Agile Squad itself. What happens if the new product coming from the Agile Squad doesn't meet the minimum target which is set by the squad or the owner of the product? Is there any tolerance level that can be accepted? And also then the last, how do the top management level decide whether this product from this Agile Squad should be terminated or should be continued? That's my first question. My question to Pak Yose. Thank you, Pak.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Aryo. Okay, so what happened if the product doesn't meet the minimum requirement? So usually the minimum viable product, they need to iterate because they cannot meet some of the requirements. So that's the core process of the agile itself. So we need to fail fast so we can fix fast too. So and we also have some cycle of iteration to measure that okay, this product won't work anyway, so they have to do the major iteration. So usually if they fail, they have to do some iteration, and of course at the end of the process, the governance and the investment committee can decide whether this product can go to usually in Telkomsel we divide into two initiatives: external, it means a new business, or internal to increase like effectiveness of our operation. So usually internal we can try and we can operate the product in our organization, so it should be easier. But external, it should meet some of business measurement. So at the end of the day, the government committee and the investment committee have to decide whether this product can go to market or not. And because if they need to go to the market, it also needs the investment. So I think that's the process of the Agile Squad.
Thank you, Pak Yose.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Aryo, for the questions. And then I'm going to call Ibu Leni Susan to address your questions. Ibu Leni. Ibu Leni Susan? Because previously you raised your hand.
It seems that Bu Leni Susan unintended.
Oh, oh, sorry. Okay, okay. And then I think if I have checked the chat, it seems that all the panelists and then the keynote speaker has already answered the questions directly, yeah. And then maybe I'm still, because this is I have 4 vouchers and 1 voucher has been given to Pario. I still want to invite 3 more participants who wants to directly ask the questions to our panelists and also our keynote speaker. Okay, while we are waiting, I'm going to ask question maybe to Pak Awal, ya. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Pak Awal, I would like to ask about actually what does the organization, especially in AP2, learn from this pandemic, Pak Awal? In brief, maybe, Pak Awal.
Yeah, I think when we are discussing internally how that we can get many new experience according to the global pandemic of the COVID-19, I think the important things is how we can learn that the industry cannot recover by themselves. So the industry need to recover by the industry approach. So that's why when we are running the Safe Travel Campaign program, means we are running together, we are running with the ecosystem, we are running with the association of the airlines, we are running with the ground handling operator, we are running with the land transportation. So that's why I think it's not only for the airport operator itself, The second lesson learned, I think, from the first perspective of the ecosystem-based operation is very important. So that's why we need together to improve the opportunity, and we can see outside of our core business. So that's why the core is only. So what is the recording? So why the recording is quite hard. So I think this is also important, not only on the focus on the core business, but we need to recover with the other side of the core business. So that's why when we say about the balance of the restructuring, we need to do two kind of things. The first one is how we utilize the asset, and the second one is how we maximizing the portfolio. When we need to maximizing the portfolio means we need to adjust how we diversify the portfolio with the intending to minimize the risk of the portfolio. And the second is how to rebalancing the portfolio means we need to making the higher opportunity to get the high margin. So that's why the business model or the new business model need to be explored when we get in the pandemic situation like this. I think
so it means that you continuously explore, yeah, Pak Awal?
Very important, I think.
Okay, so I think you continuously explore, yeah, because it changes all the time and it is very dynamic, as you said that even you made many scenarios for scenarios and adjustment for the operational of the FP2.
Indeed, the situation is very dynamic. We cannot predict. So it's quite exact the time period of the outbreaks. I remember when we make a financial stress test in May 2020.
Yes.
We can make the project some of the calculation of the industry impact of the pandemic. It's only after September.
I can imagine how
until
hectic is
today,
that.
we're still in the outbreak period, so that's why it's not so easy
Yes.
to predict with the exact number of the period.
Okay, very interesting.
We have to many strategy, I think,
Yes.
to consider many things can be happen.
Okay, that's the challenge for Awal from this pandemic actually.
Of
Yeah,
course.
we have to provide that we challenge ourselves to provide many solutions. Okay, I'm going to read the question from our YouTube audience from Bapak Jaja Sarjana. He asked, in book HRM, in knowledge economy, HR function in many organizations is superficial. How the management using their heart, head, and hand that learning organization can empower their human capital. Maybe I can start from Dr. Mariana to respond to the questions from our YouTube audience. Please unmute the mic, Dr. Mariana.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I think I will take the example of theaters, which is what I'm looking at, and the sort of how do you do it with the heart and the HRM function is not really that developed in theaters. These are small organizations and not very large. So the heart and the inspiration comes from the artistic directors. And two specific examples that I'm looking at are Elizabeth Newman from the Scottish Theatre, from the Pitlochry Festival Theatre, and the way they are dealing with the situation, the way that they are overcoming the constraints. They're reaching out to their audience. They're not. They don't allow the situation to trap them. They go even beyond the internet. They ask their audiences if they don't have the internet to use the phone. You know, it's very easy to use the phone, and you can have a slot, you can phone up, and somebody will read you a poem, they will read you part of the story, they will interact with you, they will tell you a joke. So they're trying to keep the community close. They're trying to keep the links to the community. And that's this is the sort of connection that is still maintained and is still important between the theater and the audience. And that's really that's the gist of the learning that the organizations have, and how to sort of keep that connection, and finding new ways of getting, if people can't physically be in the theater space, how to get them there, how to engage them, how to interact with them, and how to help them actually, because of course one of the main issues now is the mental health problems. And so the health and safety in the workplace is one thing, but people working from home, distance working, it creates a lot of isolation and problems. So theaters are there to try to counteract that and help people to maintain their humanity, maintain their sanity, maintain their sense of humor. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
you so much, Dr. Mariana. And then, Pak Yosim, maybe you can answer the same question using the experience from Telkomsel about the implementation of heart, head, and hand in the learning organization through the pandemic era.
Yeah, human or in Telkomsel we call it HCM is playing a very important role in this transformation, digital transformation. Now the COVID situation is push every company to accelerate the transformation journey, because the core of transformation itself is the people. So we need to transform the people first, and then try to change some culture, and also the business process, and also the reward and punishment system. You know, from the KPI to OKR, something like that. So I believe the digital mindset should start from the SR function itself.
Okay, so it is about the transformation to the digital, yeah, Pak Yose. And then actually, Telkomsel has already started the digital actually, but now maybe because the pandemic, it becomes what is it? Telkomsel should move faster.
Yeah, we should move faster. Actually, we already started the initiative since 2016. Yeah. With the COVID situation, we need to accelerate many of the process.
Yes. Okay, but you still follow the process, right? Is there any shortcut for the process to make it faster?
Yeah, because the situation itself. For example, we already do the hot seat in our office. So some of the employee they don't actually have a seat, so it's called hot seat. But of course, with the COVID situation, from the March until now, actually officially Telkomsel office still all the employees still work from home. But we can see it didn't interrupt, it didn't so all the process still can running well. So that's the example. So I think we all also have some initiative like Telkomsel PodX is our conference tools, our own conference tools. So I think it's also accelerated by this situation, and we have some home family expansion through Orbit. So because now we have to also accelerate that program too, because many people change from mobile to stay at home. So we need to also have the service to always service our customer.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Yose. And maybe to Pak Awaludin, there is a question from Ibu Herliani, Pak Awal. She asked about because you explained about digital marketing needs to be applied as part of COVID-19 pandemic when discussing operational cost savings. How do you apply digital marketing, Powell? Which we know that digital marketing needs more cost. Whereas from the previous explanation that FP2 reduces operational costs.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Erliani. Actually, I was exciting to use the new term of the new logic of competition as I read the material from the Boston Consulting Group and still relating to the concept of organizational learning, which is the concept of the new logic of competition in Boston Consulting Group. They can sharing the concept, the increasing rate of organizational learning. How I need to use the relation of digital marketing from Ibu Herliani and in AP2 situation. I give the one example from the Netflix case. The Netflix case that when Netflix using and generating the data flywheel using the big data technology. We just start with the concept of big data in AP2. So when we need to talk about digital marketing, it is nonsense without technology. And
Powell, we cannot hear your voice, Powell. Check, Powell. Oh, it seems that Powell has problem with the signal, maybe. Okay, I will read the question. I think this is the question for Professor Alexandros. I think this is the last question that I'm going to read because our time is also.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, you're back. Okay, so I will let you finish the answer.
Because we are not using Telkomsel or Telkom maybe, so that's why the network is outage. So I just want to say again, when the Netflix using how generating the big data and they are making how to get the data to create more users, more data, and using the smarter algorithm. So it is very important why organizational learning needs to use the technology, which is big data or AI or something. AP2 just start using the big data concept. And when we compare with the data from Netflix, 2011, the users or the viewers of Netflix, it's only 24 million users. And you know what, in 2017, it's already 118 million of users. And now or today, it close to 200 million users. So it is very, very, very rapidly to change using the technology. That's why I think when we are using digital marketing, also in AP2, we are not actually, we are an airport operator. We are an infrastructure company actually. So when we are using the marketing concept, it should be connecting with the technology, which is big data. You know what? 2018, the flight traffic numbers of user in 19 of airport of AP2 is 118 million traffic passengers. It's a big data. It's a huge data. But until today, the data is only the data. The data, it's not become the information. So I think it is very, very, very important for AP2, to use the concept of big data, something like that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Powell, for the explanation. And then to close our question and answer session, this is the last question that I'm going to read for Professor Alexandros. Do we need IT solution to implement successful neuroscience and knowledge management in organization? If so, how to imply them?
Thank you very much for this question, as well as for all the questions received in the chat session. I tried to respond to all of them. Hopefully, I didn't neglect anyone. If I didn't do it on purpose, of course. Please accept my apologies, and you can resend the question again. I said something about that in the chat session. We need to understand something. Neuroscience is not a tool. Okay, actually, it's not a tool for management. Neuroscience is a tool for science in order to help us understand human behavior. Now, based on the evidence that we can develop, okay, from neuroscience, we can come up with some practical solutions for managers and for employees and for organizations overall. Having said that, IT, and I'm referring to any IT system that an organization can use, from an ERP system to whatever system. From my point of view, and based on the things that I have investigated and have seen, and I have seen the last, especially 10 years of my life, needs to follow some basic rules that are rooted to the brain. Meaning, for example, if an IT system, okay, that we use in our organization in order to share knowledge, information, etc., is not a user-friendly one. So a lot of people, let me put it very simply, a lot of people, they don't know exactly how to do it, or they haven't received the appropriate training, or even if they do so, because they use it very, very rarely, they forget about it. This kind of a non-friendly, user-friendly system automatically will make us to react negatively. So what I'm trying to say here is that if whatever solution we apply, from an IT solution to a more managerial solution, to whatever solution we apply in order to run our organizations, in order to manage our organizations and people within them, we need to take into consideration at least some basic neuroscientific evidence that say to us how human brain behaves. For example, a lot of times I've heard that we people, we don't like change because simply we don't like change and we are against it. There is a reason why we don't like change. I think that I've said that in my presentation. The brain, our brain does not like change. So even if we consciously say that we like change, our brain will react negatively to whatever change this is. This is something that we need to understand. From the CEOs to the mid-level managers to the first-line employees, all of us, we need to understand. And returning back to the previous about the knowledge economy question, from my point of view, everyone, especially in that era of a knowledge economy, has to say something. Everyone inside the organization has to play a role here. We are talking about sharing knowledge, learning from each other, sharing experience. These are extremely important notions that all of us, no matter if we are in managerial positions or in lower positions, all of us, we have something to do and we have a role to play in this process. I've tried to give my view. I repeat myself, neuroscience is not a managerial tool per se. The way that I see at least neuroscience is as a tool to help me understand better human behavior. What I'm going to do afterwards with it is a different story that, of course, I need to take into consideration a lot of other aspects as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Alexandros. Okay, to close this panel session, I would like to read some of the conclusion based on our discussion today, this afternoon. So, pandemic actually really challenged the organization in order to accelerate, to transform, and to provide many solutions in a very short time. So it means that it is needed the adjustment, provided many scenario for every aspect in the organization. Hopefully that this pandemic can teach us a lot, yeah, especially for the organization, to make the organization become better in the future and ready for the newest future, yeah, in digital, of course. Okay, I think that's the conclusion based on the discussion today. And thank you so much for all the panelists for insightful sharing, and also for Professor Alexandros Thank you so much for sharing about neuroscience. And then on behalf of the committee, we would like to give all panelists a certificate of appreciation symbolically for this conference and seminar.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Dr. Marian. Thank you, Dr. Awaludin and Pak Jose. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the invitation.
The committee, the certificate. Can you play the certificate for the panelists? Okay, it seems that we have technical problems. But before we close, last but not least, we are going to take pictures with all panelists and also with the keynote speaker. We would like to ask you to kindly open the video and then we can take the picture. Okay, this is the first slide. Yeah. Smile. I will count here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then the next, we have 6, yeah? So just be ready because we don't know in which slides we are. Okay, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the next, the third, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And then this is the slide 4. 1, 2, 3. Slide 5. 1, 2, 3. And this is the last. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I would like to mention about the lucky participants who got the voucher from Prodia. Bapak Aryo, you got the voucher. And then for the other 3, we are going. The committee will select the question that has been accepted, and then we will inform about the name later. Thank you so much for your contribution and also your participation in this panel session. I'm going to give back to our MC, Bapak Asari.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Pepe, for led this awesome discussion along with our distinguished speaker, Dr. Marian, and then Pak Awaludin and Pak Yose Rizal. Thank you very much once again for your contribution to this event. And also to all participants who already contribute by addressing questions, comments, and also inputs to our discussion for today's event. And ladies and gentlemen, our next agenda is our gratitude and also appreciation to our sponsor and partners. The committee will hand over a certificate of appreciation. Thank you very much for your contributing to this virtual international conference. Without this collaboration, this annual virtual event won't be so wonderful as we see today. So here's the certificate. Prodia Clinical Laboratory. Prodia Innovate for Better Health. Then Perisai Academia Peduli Foundation. Thank you very much for your support to sponsoring our annual event. And also we would like to appreciate to our partners, STIE Equitas Bandung. And then last but not least, to Business Administration Department of Universitas Katolik Parahyangan Bandung. We hoping this positive collaboration won't stop here, but keep going continue with another events or program. And ladies and gentlemen, next I'm going to announce who's the best presenter in this awesome virtual event. There is only one presenter that will be received this honor. This award taken by the judgment from the chairperson, which led parallel session in every room. And this award will go to, maybe we had a drum roll, please, imaginary drum roll. Okay, the best presenter for International Seminar and Conference on Learning Organization, ISCLO 2020, goes to Mr. Yoke Pribadi with the paper title, The Knowledge-Based Training System in the New Normal. So congratulations to Mr. Yoke Pribadi. You are rewarded as the best presenter at ISCLO 2020. So congratulations again, once again, to Yoke Pribadi for the paper title, Knowledge-Based Training System in the New Normal. And last, this is the time where I'm going to announce the best paper of ISCLO 2020. There are three selected best paper in ISCLO 2020, and I will read it in backwards from the third best paper. So the third best paper of ISCLO 2020 goes to the paper with title, imaginary drum rolling, please. The third best paper of ISCLO 2020 goes to the paper with title, The Role of Job Satisfaction in Relationship Among Emotional Intelligence, Work Stress, Quality of Work Life, and Intention to Live of Civil Servant. Study in border area of Kalimantan Island, Indonesia. And the other is Hernawati. So congratulations to Hernawati, because your paper that presented in our international conference deserve to have the third best paper. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the second best paper of International Seminar and Conference on Learning Organization, ISCLO 2020. So, who's the second best paper goes to the paper with the title, Emotional Dynamics, Dialogue and Organizational Innovative of Indonesian Private TV Station. And the authors is Dodi Tricahyono. So congratulations to Mr. Dodi Tricahyono, because your paper with the title of Emotional Dynamics, Dialogue and Organizational Innovativeness of Indonesian Private TV Station, awarded as the ISCLO 2020, the second best paper. Congratulations once again. And last but not least, this is the best paper of A, International Seminar and Conference on Learning Organization, ISCLO 2020. So who will it be? So the best paper of ISCLO 2020 goes to the paper with the title, Learning Engagement and Satisfaction, Impact of Digital Lecturing Capability on Online Learning Experience. The author is Nopriyadi Saputra and Hari Sutanto. And congratulations to Mr. Nopriyadi Saputra and Mr. Hari Sutanto, because your paper is awarded as the best paper of a International Seminar and Conference on Learning Organization, ISCLO 2020. So congratulations to all the winners of the best paper and also the best presenter. And so the giveaway, the lucky participant who received the voucher from Prodia. And so I will inform you again about the lucky participant who already contribute to our session and question and answer session at the panel discussion earlier. So the participant, I will announce the participant who lucky to get the voucher. First is Mr. Aryo Pudianingrat. Of course, we already seen Mr. Aryo asking a question to our speaker. And the second is Mr. Tonda. Congratulations, Mr. Tonda. You are also contribute very well in this discussion panel. And then Mrs. Harliani. Congratulations to Mrs. Harliani. You are also awarded, you are the lucky participant who also contribute to this, having a positive contribution to this event. And then Mr. Chandiwan. Congratulations to Mr. Chandiwan. You also get the voucher of Prodia for the basic immunity test. So congratulations to all participants who winning winning the voucher for the basic immunity test at Prodia. Prodia, innovative for better health. Okay, so congratulations to all participants, the best presenter, and also especially for the best paper. So before we are closing, before I'm ended and closing this session, so there are some information that I would like to inform you. First, the e-certificate of this event can be accessed to the link that we have sent to your email. You notice that certificate can be accessed when you're done filling out the questionnaire. So remember, so before you can, before you're able to access your certification, attendance, contribution, and also as the presenter, you have to filling out the questionnaire first before you can access the certificate. So congratulations to all winners, audience, participants, and presenter. Thank you so much for your contribution and hoping we'll see you again in our next event. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of a International Seminar and Conference on Learning Organization, ISCLO 2020. On behalf of committee, we humbly many apologize if in this event there are something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Thank you for your attention, contribution, and keep waiting for your participation at next ISCLO 2021. Many appreciation to our sponsor, Prodia, and Parisai Academia Peduli Foundation as our sponsor, and also for the university partners, SPIE Equitas, and Business Administration Department of Universitas Katolik Parahyangan. Stay safe and healthy by wash your hand and apply your hand sanitizer, put your mask on, and keep your distance with others while doing your activities. My name is Azari. Good afternoon and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Pak
Pak Azari. Thank you, Pepi, Pak Juri, all panelists, all participants.
Awal, Pak Yosef, Dr. Mariana, and Professor Alexandros. Thank you so much. Izin live dulu.
Maybe for extra information to all the audience and participants, the feedback also, the committee also attached the link for feedback on the chat room as follows.
The recording has stopped.